Good morning. It is another day of working in the shop, and we're working on the Spud truck. And today's the day we finally get the frame to its final perfect length. Caitlin and I went out and we measured the rollback, and we took very precise measurements within halves of inches, in fact. So we know exactly where we're cutting it off.
We even used a tape measure.
We did.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
So this frame is getting cut off right here. Man, that's another 4 feet off this frame. We've cut 3 4-foot sections off this frame.
We should have just cut one giant section. That's what 12 feet.
You're supposed to measure twice, cut once. Instead, we measured no times, and cut 3 times. Well, we measured once at the end. So step 1 is take the drive shaft off. Step 2 is take the axle off. Step 3 is cut the frame off. And then step 4 is to start mocking up this real axle. That's correct. That was just pinned in there by gravity and hopes and dreams. Okay, we have got to get a straight line here. And we've got to cut another. What are you guessing, man? 300 pounds? Easily. This is probably easier to take apart right now. I need this part.
Yeah, we're gonna salvage this, right?
Yeah, because we're gonna move it to there.
Yeah.
So these all need to come apart.
Hey, we're free. Now we just have to cut some rivets and we're good.
Well, this whole thing should just slide back now. I don't know if we're strong enough to. Where's that big sledgehammer that's always supposed to be right here?
It's on the other side. Sledgehammer of justice.
This should come out of there. This is not attached anymore. Let me see if I can pry it out. Hit down on the frame right there. Ah, this is not coming out easily. We haven't even offset it one little bit.
Why don't we just cut the frame? How hard are we allowed to hit the middle of that?
I don't want to ruin it because this is literally my tail. Like, I'm gonna cut this. Well, we're gonna take this out, and we're gonna use this as a thing. Give me the cutoff here. All right, I've got to cut straight across the bottom of this.
Use the sawzall for that.
That's it.
Let's pull off.
Okay, we need some strong guys. Whoa!
What are we doing?
We're gonna set this on the ground. Rhett, will you move that?
Well, we're just going.
It's there. So let's get this outside, and somebody go out there carefully and demolish this without ruining it, because I need all the pieces. And then I need this hammered out of here. I think this will hammer out pretty easy. We may put that back in or put it somewhere else. Let's see that. Let's see what happens. Is that coming apart? Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we needed.
You cut it off again?
Yeah, the bed comes to right here, but it has to tip, so the frames are really short. The leaf springs are 42 inches. Man, I sure hope we cut this in the right place. 118 inches, right? Okay. So half of 42 is 21. The furthest back this axle can be is right here. I'm showing my crew how this works, so you guys can join in if you'd like. Figure this out. So what we're going to be doing, this is 2x4. We're actually going to be using 2x6. So this will be bolted to the frame with these nine bolts. This isn't the right height. You'll just have to bear with me and realize this ain't right. But this is gonna weld in here like this, but it's gonna be a 2x6 instead of a 2x4, and it's gonna be 1/4-inch wall. So it'll be to the top of this, which will be to the top of the frame, which will be down there. Now these will go out here like this. So they're gonna be like that. That's how the springs are gonna be. Now remember, this isn't the right place. The springs aren't gonna be that stubby, but that's how we're gonna get them out here. Now, this is gonna allow us to put some triangulation, but also across the top of this is gonna be 2x2, and that's what the frame for the rollback lays on. It has to have a 2-inch gap, which makes me sad because that's more bed elevation, but it is what it is, and we're gonna use that opportunity to run a brace all the way across the top here, and that'll add a significant amount of strength to this.
It's chaos in the shop. We got action everywhere.
Look at those safety glasses on his hat.
Those are the biggest holes I've ever had to fill in my life. Where's Red at? You see how hard it is to fill those? We needed 5-cent piece holes. He did 50.
I do a good job.
That got welded on upside down, guys.
Huh?
No.
This is on upside down. It ain't gonna matter, but it is on upside down. It ain't gonna matter. Good morning, it's a new day in the shop, and of course, we're still on the Spud truck here. So I stayed a little bit late last night and got all these plates put on here. And now we just gotta keep going. So Colin's got a full, where is Colin?
He's suiting up.
Colin's suiting up. Colin has got a full day of welding. Caitlin, you've got a full day of getting yelled at.
Okay.
Go get me this, go get me that.
I'm ready.
I'll be like, Caitlin, why isn't Jake working? Caitlin.
That's a Jake problem.
All right. So we're just gonna be doing things on this bed here. Now we decided, instead of bolting these plates on, we're gonna do some bolting because the bolts tie the two frame rails together. So we'll put 4 bolts in the plate and then the rest will be plug welded. I'm not worried about it cracking, and so should you. Okay, Caitlin, we are drilling holes
Oh my goodness.
in this.
I feel like I walked in and I missed a week.
Yeah, it's full on production.
You did a lot.
All right, so what we're gonna do is kind of mark where I think these holes should be. I don't know where they should be. Okay, Caitlin. 2 bolts, 2 bolts, 2 bolts. I need 4 more of them. Okay, Colin. I need you to come do some tackaroos. Okay. Come over here to this side and do the same thing.
All right, so we got the 3 amigos out here. We got this bar here that's like a pivot point. We're trying to get this out. And the thing is, it's a little crusty and it's a little rusty. So it's taken 3 of us to try to get this bar out. Mostly this guy. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. Parts are here. Fresh parts, get your parts.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, this thing's nice. Oh, you got it, dude. You got it. It's sliding now.
Yeah.
Sweet. But now you have your other collar to deal with. This is the piece we're trying to get out. The collars right here are catching. So we're trying to figure out how to get those off. So we can remove that pin. So with the strength of Jordan and Aaron combined, this is how far we got. Check this out, guys. If you come over here, Colby, this pin has been fighting these guys because these collars on here are pretty much welded and rusted. Tap, 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 tap. This close, we're almost out. We're going to Sizzler.
I'm going to Disneyland.
There you go.
I have never said this in my life, but I think I'm sick of welding right now.
Whoa.
My arms are tired.
Look at that. We're drilling more holes.
This is how this goes. Right here. Just like that. And then you've got these plug welds to do. And then I've got to drill.
This is a serious rear end.
Yeah, this anchors the whole bed. So you know when the bed's up in the air and you have leverage on it side to side, this is what it's bolted to.
In-laws,
Looky, looky what I got. New welding wire. Thanks, Caitlin.
If it starts doing that thing where it's like,
This thing is so pretty. Look at
okay,
that.
let's take this off from it, so we're not swinging that around. Put that up. Oh, hey, look, it comes with its own stuff. We don't have to use EPDM. We'll just lay that stuff down. Well, you. Well, we've already ran into problem number one, right?
Just take a tube, come out. Like
Yeah,
right there.
this is what I was thinking of, just having to fill be right here. You want it over your head so you get a good shower. You guys will leave the gas cap off on purpose if I make you do that. We'll probably just extend it straight up here. Just do two of these, one on each side. But instead of, what I'm gonna do is weld a tab on here and drill and tap and bolt that in there. If we cut this in half, that's enough. Yeah, that's all we have. Well, I don't know if we might have some more of this. Cut that exactly in half and clean up the end. I hope you're as excited as I am about this. Look at that. Got a couple things to figure out, but at least we don't have to figure out a fuel gauge, right? That's a huge time saver. All right, we're back from lunch. I'm about to cut something and these guys are throwing a fit.
His favorite thing to do is to put on earmuffs and go, noise! And nobody is ready. And he just starts cutting.
And you should see Peanut. The second I put my headphones on, she's gone. She's out of here.
Okay, you're free to go now.
All right. It'll be the worst.
Noise.
Noise.
Oh, that's looking so much better.
Oh, that was gorgeous.
So this gas tank needs to be removable. We're making these parts removable so we can remove the gas tank. That's what we're doing.
You added a bar, Colin.
Yeah, this is what holds the bed up and everything like that.
This is replacing this piece right here.
Oh.
We're not just guessing about this bar, we're copying. Plagiarism right here. All right, so what we have here is some diamond plate. And let me tell you what diamond plate says about a rig. It says the same thing about a man wearing a flannel shirt and a Levi jacket. He can put game meat on the table anywhere under any conditions. That's what that means. It's a good man. All right, okay. So this is theoretical ride height right here, which is pretty good. We've got, so remember the drive shaft will not be below the frame till it has to kick down. So we got some stuff still to move. But hey, we got 24 inches of ground clearance, a little bit more. 24 1/4. 24 inches and 1/4 inch. That's probably like 300 millimeters or something. So anyway, this is ride height. The bed we have is not a low profile bed. It's an older bed and it's not as low profile as I would like. but beggars can't be choosers. So the deck of the bed is actually going to be 10 inches off from the top of this frame rail. Or 8 inches off of that. So if we come here and we go 8 inches, that's 46 inches. That's still lower than our rollbacks out there. They're 48 inches.
So, out of all your rigs, is this going to be the most likely to roll?
Oh no, this is going to have a really low center of gravity. Actually, yes. If loaded and driven improperly, this one could roll.
Dunes are gonna be terrifying.
Well, this goes straight up dunes and straight down. That's it.
It'll unloaded. This thing will do off camber as much as anything we have. The dunes are all about feedback. You got to drive fast enough that you get steering feedback, and then you just feel in your body how the G's are, like the G forces are hitting you, and you drive accordingly. And this thing's gonna give you less information, or give it to you a lot slower, lower resolution, if you will. But you can see here, this is the start of where the leaf spring perches are gonna be. So you can tell, so the axle, the front axle is gonna be right in between here. The back axle is gonna be right in between here. There's more structure that goes underneath this to help box this end up. Just gonna address it once again. This frame has had farmers drilling through the top of it for several decades. And it's been working hard in a potato field, just hauling dirt and spuds and rocks. And we're gonna be using it to haul much lighter things through much rougher terrain, but I still think it's gonna be okay. So the idea here is to firm up this back end so much that there's no flex in it, and then slowly let it start flexing. So that's why we're all welded with double quarter inch, laminated, bolted together, plug welded together. It's 3/4 of an inch thick right back here in the corners. By the time we get that plate on there, it'll be over 3/4 of an inch thick back here. So that's the bomb, like that's the bomb shelter. And then we go to thinner metal. This is 1/8 inch diamond plate, and it's bolted everywhere and bolted to this cross member. And then we just let it do its thing the rest of the way. So will it ever crack? Yo, I don't know. Just tune in 3 times a week and enjoy the show. To the extreme, I rock the shop like a vandal. Turn off the lights. Watch this chump light a candle. All right, enough silliness. I gotta get back to drilling about 500 more holes in this thing.
And I'm gonna turn the camera off.
Good morning, we are back in the shop. Things are already happening, it's crazy.
Chaos.
Colin started welding these on. All right, now we can see how these work. So these are the brackets for the leaf springs. They go on like this.
We're supposed to get here today, so we're
Yes.
super excited.
We got our precision things here. Wow. We're gonna need some longer bolts for this, but this will get us started. This will get us around the block is what it'll do.
Oh boy.
So we got these about a 1/64 of an inch too wide. That's the kind of tolerances we work with here at Matt's Off-Road Recovery. What do you think of that?
I love it.
We just got to figure out where this even goes. It goes somewhere. I just don't know where.
I'm eating an ice cream Sammy to keep me cooled off,
Where did that
Little-
come
and I'm
from?
hungry.
Straight up piracy. It says Matt right on the box.
Oh wait, let me show you guys. Matt, right there. Sorry. The best kind of ice cream sandwich is a stolen one.
We'll let it slide this time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get these all stacked on here, tacked on here, welded on here, brackets on there, and then we'll come back and show you what that looks like. This is my first serious build using leaf springs, and I didn't know that much about them, so I called my buddy Rory. Oh, Hey Rory, who's your leaf spring guy?
Lou from Alcan.
So I called Alcan Springs and told them what I was doing. I half expected them to tell me I was crazy and that they weren't gonna help, but instead they jumped right in and they built these custom leafs. And they are awesome. Alcan was easy to work with and they were very knowledgeable. They got me these leaf springs really fast. So if you've got a leaf spring project, I definitely recommend Alcan Springs. I mean, who wouldn't want their rig suspended in awesomeness? All right, we're gonna lower this down and see how it looks with its own weight. I hope it sags a little bit. Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. Okay.
I think those are gonna be perfect.
I didn't know. I didn't know if they'd be perfect, but
Do you
now I
want
have
to go back up and measure it and then?
No. Let me see here. Oh my goodness. How level are we? We are uphill 0.1 degrees. My drawing worked.
Have you guys seen his drawings?
My drawing worked.
At night, I would wake up to go get me a glass of water, and he'd be sitting on the counter drawing, and he'd be like, "Colin, come over here and look at this." And I'm like, "Dad, I'm going back to bed. It is 3 a.m.
Where's my leaf sprung drawing? Right there. There it is. Can you even see that?
Yeah.
That's the one right there.
Wow. And it worked?
It's working. So here's the deal. I ordered longer shackles than these. And that's okay, because we have the weight of the bed going on. So between doubling this and the weight and the side-by-side, this is gonna drive pretty level. So you might be wondering why I ran these across. And the reason that is because the rollback sets on those. Well, why don't I just set it flush with the frame? It's a good question. The answer is the cross member that the hydraulic rams go off of is this high, so there has to be a gap. And they're gonna be sitting in here somewhere, I hope so. They're gonna be, you're gonna have to imagine this, I don't know. Anyway.
Don't worry, I'll see him at 3 a.m. one
We'll
of these
figure it
nights,
out.
and he'll be telling me, "Colin, come here, I figured it out."
I hope I figure it out. All right, we're gonna answer a couple questions from last week's video. One of them was, Matt, why do you have this gasoline-soaked Molotov cocktail here where you're welding? It's very dangerous. Actually, this Molotov cocktail, while the container's full of gas, the rag is soaked in water. So we have a vent right here that we put in here so that this would work as a temporary gas tank. Then we did some welding, and we do that. We just get this all wet with water. So while still incredibly dangerous, it's not as dangerous as it might have looked. All right, now that I've got this drawn, we did get a lot of questions about this. I'm just gonna draw it again. So, okay, so we come out of the 205, we go to here. Now, I didn't draw universal joints on these drive shafts. So this time I'm gonna have to because some of you had some questions. So that symbolizes universal joint, universal joint, universal. And that may be a double cardan, probably will be. It's funny we call them universal joints and then double cardans, but really this is a single cardan joint and this is a double cardan joint. So coming out of the transfer case, we're probably gonna have a double cardan and then a single to that differential. And then this one's gonna probably have a single cardan. And then it's gonna attach to some kind of a carrier bearing. And then after that, there'll be a double cardan and a single cardan. So there, I drew your joints for you. So that should help you understand that. Now, this is not a new idea. This is straight up plagiarism. I stole this, I don't know, like 15 years ago. I was looking under an old military truck up in Victor, Idaho. And I'm like, wow, that thing's got 2 drive shafts and 2 back axles. And this is how they did it. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. I should do something like that in the future. The future is now, and we're doing it. Burn that into your memory. That's how it is. Okay, we got a lot of questions. Well, Matt, well, I'm going to draw the side view. There's a tire. Imagine this. There's another tire. So you're going to imagine. Okay, there's the axle tube. There's the axle tube. This one's going to be, there's the center chunk, and then here's the axle tube. So what happens is you put a plate right here, and you have a carrier bearing mounts right there. The carrier bearing comes out and goes to a U-joint. It's probably going to be a double cardan, symbolized like that. This is probably going to be pointed up like that, or it will be. And this will be your straight line, like that. So that's how it works. And then your drive shaft is coming in here from the transfer case, or the splitter, I mean, sorry. Okay, well, Matt, what happens when this wheel goes up and this wheel goes down?
Isn't it gonna tear the very fabric of space and time?
And your drive shaft? No, it won't. And the reason is because we're gonna limit how much up and how much down. We're gonna limit how much that is, at the very least, to the limit of what these joints can handle. But I think it's gonna be a lot less than that, because you can't have axles on a rollback. The back axle can't be just flippy flopping around. It's gotta be very stable. It's gotta be planted to the frame so that when you load it with a car, it doesn't do this, flippy floppy. So these are gonna be very controlled in how much up and how much down they can do. There's just not gonna be a lot of articulation difference between them. Either one of these axles will easily handle the load that this thing is designed to carry. So if one of them needs to lift a wheel, or even both wheels on an axle, that's gonna be just fine. I hope that answers that question. I got a very angry question. It said, Matt, are you gonna keep ignoring me? I've asked you 5 times what the gear ratios are on this truck. So I have been ignoring you, which I do apologize for, and I'm gonna tell you right now. This is not the front axle we're running, but this is a symbol of the front axle. This is symbolic of the front axle we're gonna be running. And it's gonna have 4.88 to 1 gear ratio. It's gonna have 42-inch tires. This isn't the actual tire we'll be running, but it is the actual size we're gonna be running. This is a 35-inch tire, and the back axle is gonna be 4.10 to 1, so 4/10s on a 35. So with the different size tires and the different gear ratios, it's gonna work out even Steven, pretty much. Close enough. Today's question and answer has been brought to you by Yukon Gears. Alcan Springs, the color blue, and the letter A for awesome. Thanks for watching.